So, having said that, what I was going to show you guys, or what I was going to talk about that was really kind of funny, is several people have asked me who've been watching my page and have seen some of what I'm doing. I've been on Weight Watchers. I started on Weight Watchers in August, and I've had several people to make comments, which have been very encouraging. I've had people ask me how much weight have I lost, you know, what is my goal, how much do I want to lose, is it hard, do I like it? A little bit about me is that I was the 9-pound baby that was the fat baby, fat kid, fat teen, fat adult. I have had a weight issue my whole life. So I learned a long time ago not to be focused on numbers when it came to my body and my weight. Hey, Michelle, I see Michelle Higgins has joined us. So, hey, Michelle. Or I should be waving this way instead of the computer. But anyway, so I did a lot of unhealthy things to myself in my younger years, trying to lose weight. I know what it is to go for days and eat almost nothing and then binge. I know what it is to overuse medications to try to lose weight. And I know what it is to hate myself. And I finally reached a point somewhere along my adulthood where I realized that if I didn't learn to love me for who I am now, then I would never love me at any weight. And I'm not a part of the me generation. I'm not all about myself and self-promotion, but I am a believer in that God created me, and that God loves me, and that God sees value in me. And so learning to accept me for who I am and learning to better myself has been a long journey for me, and I'm still on that journey. So having said that, I have at one time been significantly larger than I am now. When I was pregnant with my oldest child, I maxed out at the end of that pregnancy at 292 pounds. So that's the heaviest I've ever been. And then thank God I lost a significant amount of weight after that. And then I have kind of maintained after losing that initial loss, and I'm not going to give you numbers because it doesn't matter, but I have maintained for a long time, and I've had about a 10 to 15 pound ebb and flow where I might gain 10 pounds, gain 15 or 15, and then lose it back off, and just works back and forth within that range. So this year, my husband decided he wanted to try Weight Watchers. He's trying to lose some weight because he has some health issues where he needs a hip replacement. And so we're working on that, and we decided to do it together. And so we've been doing Weight Watchers together, and they've changed the program some, and I really like it. And at first, I thought I was going to starve to death because you have to go through that initial phase where if you've not been eating healthy, which for the last year prior to that I had not been. I had been on the go all the time and eating a lot of fast food. Well, not fast food, but eating out, pick up plates and things like that. We'd done a lot of unhealthy things. We were not cooking as much. So we gotten used to processed food or pre-prepared food from other places, and which is not made the way you would make it if you were making it yourself and try to be more healthy. So in the beginning, you kind of go through a withdrawal stage for about 3 days. And during that time, you will think you're going to starve to death. And I thought I was. But then I got onto it and started doing better. So here we are now. This is, excuse me, this is January 14th. And I've had several people ask me how much weight I've lost, and I will say I've lost 28.5 pounds right now, which to some people is a huge amount. To some people, it's not much at all. And for me, it is just a number. It is where I'm at right now. I can say that right now I am the smallest I've been in many, many, many years. I actually weigh about 45 pounds less than I did the day I married my husband. And so I'm proud of that. I'm happy with that. And this is where I'm at. So if you've been looking at my Facebook page, you've seen pictures of me. If you've been looking at my past videos, you've seen me on video. I'm going to stand up and back up just a little bit. I'm going to move the camera. just so that and I'm not doing this for you guys, I'm actually doing this for myself because I want to go back and look at my own videos and compare myself from the video I was looking at today. But this is me now. So this is how I look. I've got on a stretchy cotton 3/4 length sleeve shirt, and I've actually got on cotton leggings with this. So as you can see, I have some looseness in my shirt. If you've ever seen me wear this shirt in the past, it wasn't this loose. And you know, I'm not a skinny person by any means, but I'm happier to be where I'm at now. And another reason I wanted to make this video is to tell you guys that it's very important to value yourself, and it's very important to value that you get to a place that you are happy and that you are able to enjoy life, and that you're able to not always be looking for the better day. I actually had an experience I guess it was earlier this week, or it may have been last week. I had an experience with someone who also is on Weight Watchers, and she's lost some weight, a significant amount of weight for her. She was overweight in terms of medically overweight, but in terms of you know, my standards as to where I've been, I mean, she was not a huge person. So but she's healthier now and she's doing really well. So anyway, she was talking to me and we were having a conversation about this, and I almost found myself feeling a little bit like getting to that place of feeling a little bit inferior, because she was asking me questions like, and she did not mean anything by it, I know she didn't, but she was asking questions like, well, how much weight have you lost? Oh, well, you know, when I tell her, it's like, oh, okay. Well, how much do you want to lose? And I'm like, well, I don't care. I mean, do I want to continue to lose weight? Yes, I do. I want to be healthy. Yes, I do. But I learned a long time ago not to get so focused on that, because if I do, I become very depressed because of my history. And she kind of looked at me kind of strange, like, okay. And then she was like talking about what all she'd been doing in terms of losing weight, and in terms of how many steps she takes per day, and in terms of I keep looking at the computer in case you guys that are wondering why I keep looking over. I have my monitor to the right of me, so I'm kind of watching who's joined me so that I can answer any questions and say, hey. So I want to shout out to Sheila Rivera. Hey, Sheila. And Mandy Westmoreland. Hey, Mandy, can't wait to see you, Mandy, in February for our class. And hey, Cindy Nelson, and I'm still hoping, Cindy, that you will be able to join our painting class. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, kind of lost my train of thought. The lady, you know, the lady was asking me a lot of questions and stuff, and talking about her steps and what all she was doing, and I was like, that's great and all. And then she was like, well, you know, do you have, what is your goal? Where do you want to be? What is your goal? How much do you want to lose? And she kept wanting to be really focused on numbers. And I was just like, well, you know, yes, I have set a goal. And the goal I set was not any chart weight. It was not based on what some doctor somewhere tells me that I should weigh, or some chart somewhere that tells me that if I reach this magic number, I'm suddenly healthy, or acceptable to society, or whatever. I said, I just set for myself, going on Weight Watchers, I set a goal that I felt like was a reasonable goal that I could reach within a year. And if I reach my goal, I will be ecstatic. And if I don't reach my goal, that's okay too, because I am still improving. And once I reach my goal, I will reevaluate, and I'll probably set a new goal at that time. But until that point, I'm just doing this for now for me. And I explained to her that I had, what I just said to you all about, that I had learned a long time ago, that if I didn't love me for who I am now, that I wouldn't love me when I reached my goal. And she just kind of was like, oh, okay. So, and that kind of, in that moment, it really, honestly, it really made me feel bad. It really made me feel, the old feelings of I'm less than and I'm not enough came back. And I just smiled, and she went on her way, and I went back to what I was doing. And but I thought about it a lot this week, and obviously I've thought about it a lot because I'm making a video about this. Hey, Lori, how are you doing? So, you know, but then I had to really just do some soul searching this week, and I just came back to my thing that I keep having to bring myself back to, my point that I have to bring myself back to. And the reason I want to say this is I want to say this to anybody and everybody out there who's listening, to you ladies that are listening to me right now, and to those of you that will be watching this video when it airs on Facebook and on YouTube. You gotta be comfortable with who you are now. You've got to, and you've got to be in a point where, like I said, if you enjoy and fully embrace your life right now, and all the good things and all your good qualities and all the things that you offer to this world, and all the things that you enjoy in this world, that you have, that focusing on where you are now and enjoying your journey and being happy with who you are now, is so important. Because if you don't, and I'm speaking from my own experience that runs very deep with me. If you can't find a way to do that, you will spend your whole life being so miserable. And I think back, you know, there's an old saying, and there's no joke, that I've seen like a meme on Facebook and other places before, where it says, "I wish I was as fat as I was when I first thought I was fat." And that is so true. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've looked back at old pictures that when I was a teenager, and I thought I looked so horrendous. And yes, I was a chunky teenager, but I look at those pictures and I think, if I had known then my value, and I had known then that I really was pretty, and I had known then that I really did not look as horrendous as I thought I did, then I wouldn't have given up and become the person I later became. Because there was truly a point in my life, and I can honestly say there was a point in my life that right after I got out of high school, when I felt such despair, it was in my 20s, that I thought, well, what the heck, you know, I'm fat, I've always been fat, I'm always going to be fat, so I may as well enjoy being fat. And so then I just went whole hog, and I just, bam, I gained 30 pounds just right off the bat, just eating and not caring and that kind of thing. And then I went into this panic mode where I was like, oh my God, because at that point I was working in a medical field, and it was like, I got to get skinny. And that's when I started all the unhealthy stuff that I did in secret that nobody knew about, and I don't talk about it. And there are things that I did. And don't get me wrong, I never made myself throw up, thank God. I actually tried to once, but I guess I couldn't quite push it that far. But I did other things, like I said, starvation and then binging, diuretics, and I'm talking about prescription diuretics that, because I was working in the medical field, I had access to, laxatives, things like that. Those are things that I really, truly ever talked about much in my life, only maybe to a few people. So to actually be saying this on a video, that's huge for me. So, you know, I now know some things and God has brought me to a place where God did a lot of inner healing in me in my life, and I can take you to different times and places in my life where God has worked miracles of inner healing in my life, and brought me to a place that I could say, you know, look in the mirror and say, I'm a worthwhile human being, and say it without it, you know, and I don't mean it as a look at me, I think I'm a wonderful person, or I think I'm, you know, all that or whatever. I don't mean that, but I can look at myself and say, I'm a beautiful person. And why am I a beautiful person? I'm a beautiful person because God made me, number one, and He loves me. And number two, I do matter to people in this life, and I do have an impact on people in this life. And I have children that I absolutely and utterly adore. And God brought those children out of me, and those are the most beautiful, beautiful things that have ever come out of me. And God did that out of me. And so therefore, if something that beautiful could come out of me, then, you know, I must be pretty okay. And I have a wonderful husband, and you know, I have this art of reborn dolls that I do. So, and I enjoy it, and I am able to make creations that are pleasant to the eye and that comfort people and bring people joy. And, you know, and I started just looking at little things like that in my life and started saying, well, hey, I can do some things, and I'm not totally stupid, and I'm not just some oaf that doesn't matter to everybody or whatever. So I just really want you to hear my heart today and hear that I'm saying you matter. You are important. And no matter who you are, where you are in your life or in your journey, and you could be in a journey that's not about your weight. You could be in a journey that's about drug addiction, or you could be in a journey that's about maybe you've struggled not from an overweight standpoint, but from an anorexic standpoint. Or maybe you come from a place where you feel like that you just can't achieve what you've always wanted to achieve, and maybe you feel like a failure, and you just feel like everything that you've done in life has been a huge failure, and you've just been knocked down and knocked down. But I'm here to tell you, no, you are not, and yes, you do matter, and you are important, and try to find a place within yourself that you can say, I matter, and try to find that place. And I will tell you that from where I sit and where I come from, I am a Christian. I do believe in God, and I do believe in Christianity, and that is, my faith is very strong, and it's very important to me. And that is a keystone to where I come from and where I receive my sense of self-worth. If that's not where you receive your sense of self-worth, I can't tell you where to find that. I personally believe that is where the beginning is for me. But I can tell you that regardless of what walk of life you come from, that you matter, and you matter to many, many people in your life that you might not think you matter to. And there's always somebody out there that you've touched their life in a way that if you had not been in their life, their lives would have been different. So please don't ever think that you're not important or that you're not enough. And so that's enough of that little sermon. I got a little heavy here, but I wanted to share that with you guys. And then that's pretty much what was on